Hello, hello. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
I think my computer has crashed or something, or Microsoft Teams is crashing. Okay, it's good. Oh, okay. So we have people from the other group as well, right? Um, okay, I want to start by yeah, we don't have a lesson today, so I'll leave the last lesson on space partitioning in the next few weeks. So I don't want you to think about it until it is necessary. Okay, so let me share the assignment, and this is a very important checkpoint. Okay, so when I say it is a milestone, which means you have to get it. Okay, you have to do it, uh, not just like an optional assignment. So this is a mandatory assignment. So I show you my screen. Do you see the assignment milestone one over here? Hello, do you see it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so read through it and see if you have any questions. So basically, this will be a just a simple upgrade from my sample. Okay, from my sample 5. So I don't think it's gonna be too much for you to implement it right now. So the time is only 2 weeks for you. So okay, so what is the requirement? So the first line, work 1-1, so you all know what it is, right? So the ground terrain. So what does it mean when I say ground terrain? Um, so let me pull up the game and then I'll explain what does that mean. Okay, where is it? Where is the game? So okay, you see the game screen, right? So what do I mean by having a game terrain? Which means anything that is pliable, right? Like the brick here, like the platform down here, right? So Mario can stand on it on the platform over here. So the on the platform. So you don't have to implement every enemies on the screen, on the scenario, on the level. So you just need to implement three three of them. So uh, uh,
It's very lacking.
it's fine. It's fine. We just need the you mean the audio is laggy or the whole
Yes,
thing?
it's the audio.
Oh, okay. Let me see if what I can do. So I'm on the right connection. Okay, I don't think I can do anything about it. Maybe because of the network connection at my home. So I'll turn off the video then. Okay, the camera. See, hope it improve a little bit. Better. Do you see me?
Hello, sir. I don't think it's because the connection, because it's about the game take a lot of RAM. Maybe it's so lagging a little bit.
Lagging in terms of audio.
Maybe about the game, it's make the performance of the PC lagging a little bit.
Maybe it is just a simple game. I don't think so. But anyway, so let's continue. So if you cannot hear me, just stop me, okay? So I will resume. So again, so on the first point, what do I mean by ground terrain? Which means all of the platforming stuff, like Mario can stand on a brick, can stand on a pipe, can stand on not a full platform, but just the platform, just like the rectangle over here, right? So everything relating to platform must be implemented, which means Well, if you started from my sample, it would be very simple. So you just need to figure out how to do the one-way platform here, which means Mario can stand on top. But when he jumps from below and jump over it, so there is no collision, right? Only collision in one direction. So it is a simple modification on the framework to achieve that. Okay, is that clear for the first point? Fully collidable with terrain objects means, yeah, so you supposed to if in the game Mario collide with the brick, so over here in your milestone it should be able to do the same. So get it, guys. Okay, so that's the first point. Any question? So the second one is Mario. So this is an easy item for you. I only need the small Mario and big Mario. So of course there is the tail Mario, right? So I don't need this at the moment. Just big and small. So you don't have to implement the Mario with the tail, or he can fly or something. So I don't need that. But in terms of Mario action, so you need to implement all of the run, walk, sit. So again, look at the way I implement Mario on the sample post is a little bit different on run. Okay, so if we uh, if we look at the way the actual game runs, when I keep the A button, he does not run that fast, right? So until he reaches the max speed, so he will do the big jump. So but in the sample code, I implement every time when I hold down the A button, and then when Mario run, sorry, when Mario jump, he will do the big jump. Okay, so which is not correct for the game. So please keep that in mind for the run action. Okay. So right now, when he run at max speed, so he will cross his arm and then like a very big jump. But right now, when he hasn't reached it, he max speed, so he just jump normally. Okay, you see that? Even though that he jumped a little bit further than a normal state, than the walking state, but not as fast or as far as when he reaches the max. So make sure that you differentiate that from my sub 45. Okay, and yep. So another feature that I want you to implement is Mario can hit the question trick. Like, so it's a question trick, right? So he can hit it from the bottom, and then there will be a mushroom pops up, right? Then he can hit the mushroom to become bigger. Okay, that's like, right? And we have Goomba. Goomba is the bad mushroom, and Wing Goomba. So the logic is super simple. So what it is, this is the normal Goomba. You it's one hit, right? So if Mario jump to uh, a Wing Goomba, the red one, uh, the Goomba will lose the wing and become a normal Goomba, right? But just different colors. And then Goomba will, then if we hits it again, uh, we will kill or defeat the Goomba. Is that clear? So the last tricky one is the Koopa, right? So actually Koopa is a very interesting feature of the game, but I don't want you to go full. Right? So I just need to need you to be able to storm the cooper from above, and you can kick it, and that's it. It's just like I'm doing right now. You hit it, you storm it, right, and then you kick it. So and then you bouncing back and forth. So in the real game, the logic is if the shell goes out of the window, be able to see it, right? But if you follow it, see it bouncing back and forth. And when it is bouncing, it will kill one of the Goomba on its path, right? That's okay. So and you will be given 2 weeks to finish the assignment here. And this is a mandatory assignment. Okay. So if you drop out from the assignment, and then yeah, so consider your course is over. Okay. Okay, I will stop here. Any questions so far on the assignment?
So I see the deadline is next week. Okay, thank you, sir. That means next week we will have one more time to ask you about also.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I was muted. Somehow I don't understand why I was muted. Okay. So you guys can ask me anytime. So trying to send me an email, trying to post a question on the class channel. Okay. I'll try to get Microsoft Teams open so that I can see your question. But right now, do you have any burning topics you want to bring up or anything you want to ask me on how to do the assignment? Because our lessons are almost over, just one more lesson. So and then I will leave it into the very end. So you don't have to implement the space partitioning or the grid stuff today. So leave it alone. Okay, I think we have one question here. So collision, yes, I want to tell you about that now. Let me open. I'll share you my screen again. Really, what is wrong with Microsoft Teams? I think since the last update or something, it becomes very super crazy slow. Yeah, I understand. I know why it is a bit wrong like this. Actually, that was my fault. You know, I'm a bit lazy to draw it correctly. Okay, so the bounding box is not 100%, is not completely wrong, but the drawing is completely off. Okay, so consider it as an exercise, because the platform itself consists of many tiles, right? Many sprites. So because we have to rework on the bounding box calculation. So if you look at the way we calculate the bounding box, let's take Tumba as an example. Here you can see the formula for a normal object. An object consists of one sprite. It's very simple, right? So we know that the rendering will happen when we draw the sprite at the center. So that was why we use this formula, right? I need to pull out slide so that I can demonstrate my point over here.
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
The first branch is the milestone one, isn't it? Because you need to you said that we have to separate to.
Yeah, you need to create a new branch and please name it milestone 1.
Okay.
Okay, it could be any milestone 1, you know. So just milestone 1, milestone /1, but if it has a word milestone and then number 1, it should be okay. Okay. Get it? So I'll open the slide to explain my point a little bit on how to draw stuff. Okay, let's get back to this one. Now, you know, we know that we will render from the. Oh, no. Let me do some copy paste. Where is it? Where is the drawing? Okay, I need to. Do you still see my screen, right?
Yes, we still see your screen.
Okay. Okay, Sheffield. Okay, so we know. I'll delete all of this. So for object that consists of only one sprite, like for example Mario, so we know that the drawing position is at the center of the sprite, right? So that was why we have to add. So in order to calculate the bounding box of the character, so we use this formula, right? So we get the center of drawing, so which is x and y here, right? And then we minus the bounding box width and divided by 2. So half of the bounding box width and half of the bounding box height to get to this point, right? And then in order to calculate this bottom right, so basically we get the coordinate of the center and add half of the width and half of the height, and then we will get the bottom right of the bounding box. Correct? That works for object with many with single sprite, right? So, but in the case of the platform, so that might not be correct, right? Because we draw by, so what is the anchor point of a platform? So what is the drawing point, right? So I will, let's say in my code, so I use the center of the first sprite as a drawing point, right? As a starting point, and then we need to come up with a good formula so that we can to calculate into this one. so that we can come up with the correct point here and here, so that the rendering function can draw correctly. Okay. So if you look at the rendering function, the generic rendering function in the game object, where is it? Render bounding box. So you can see that the actual render, the bounding box rendering is mostly used for the single sprite object. So it won't be enough for the for the platform case. Okay. So and then let's take a look at the platform object. Where is it? P. So the way I calculate the platform object is a bit wrong. I think so. We calculated, but it might be wrong. So so you need to work out on the correct formula. I'm a bit lazy. Got it, guys? So the rendering function, the generic rendering function, may not be good enough, right? Because remember, the render function only works correctly for a single sprite object. But over here, we render a very long platform, and then the center of the and the position of the rendering is at the center. So the longer the platform is, the more incorrect the render function works, because we get the center of the drawing on the first sprite of the platform only. Do you get it, guys? Do you get it? So we have to read over here when we go back to the drawing function here. In the game object, sorry, where is it? In the game object. So the drawing, the draw, this position must be recorrect. Okay, must be correct. So this is wrong for the platform. So the drawing position is not at X and Y, because it is the center. It's drawing from a center. That was why you see something like this if the platform is very long, because it is at the center, right? And we assume that the center is just the center of the first sprite. So I can help you with that. I can fix it for you, but well, I have the right to be lazy. So you do it by yourself. Okay, it's just a rendering function, so doesn't change anything, but it still works correctly. Okay, because the rendering function was wrong, but the bounding box calculation is almost right.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Of course, go ahead.
Can I modify function render bounding box in class C game object?
Of course, you can do. In fact, you can modify anything. Okay.
I have modified the draw function.
The draw function
that it in render bounding box.
Okay. So basically, you have to recalculate the drawing position here.
Yes.
So right now we are using this formula is not correct for the platform object. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe you have to define the you have to override the render bounding box function, right, to make it more correct on the platform object.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain more about the purge deleted object functions?
The what? The touch what? Sorry.
Purge deleted objects function.
The what?
In PlaySense CPP.
Okay. There is a function named what?
PURE purge deleted objects.
That one? Park section object? This one?
No, purge.
Oh, purge delete. Oh,
Yeah.
purge, which means we destroy everything, annihilate it. So we turn it into ashes.
Oh.
So, oh yeah, actually, good question. So, do you remember the coin, right? Do you
Yeah.
remember the coin? So the coin, when Mario touched the coin, so we should delete the coin, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, but because we are in the middle of rendering the whole object list of the scene, right? So, and then if we delete the object right away, it will cause problem. It's just like you remember when we learn very basic computer science. So if you delete an item inside an array, so you have to ship the other items, right? You have to ship the other item into the deleted object position, right? That will cause quite a change in the order of the object in the list. So I don't want to do that, right? So I just when I delete an object, so I just turn on the property say deleted, is deleted, right? So I just mark it as deleted. And now when we finish updating, when we finish a frame, so it's the time to actual delete the marked deleted object.
And how about when we move to, the camera, when we move to another position,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the rest of objects behind the camera will be disappear. So it's still there, or it just deleted or disappear.
Because the reason why the own NDS games delete the object outside the camera because it has very limited memory, right? But now we have a supercomputer in front of us, so with a lot of memory. So the answer is no, you don't need to delete them. So just keep them.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So, but it's up to you to implement the logic of removing object if it is outside of the camera for us. If it is too far away from the camera, maybe it is good to actually remove them, right? But because we have a very powerful machine here, so we don't really need to do so. Hey, do you get the idea why we have the perks? Oops, the first function here. I say it again. So during the time when we still have to update the scene, right? So because we are traversing the list of the object in the scene to update its position, right? So if we remove one object, so we change the list in the middle of the processing, which is usually not a good idea. So that was why we say, okay, we just delete that object. We mark it as deleted, and then now it's the time to really delete it after we have updated the whole frame, the whole after we have finished updating the whole frame. Okay, good question. Yeah, I forgot to mention you about this special function.
So do we need to re-override the camera functions, or it just the optimize?
What do you mean? So the camera function is just a sample camera function, right? So in the real game, so the way to control the camera is actually more complicated than the way I implemented for you to see. So again, I want to say, you are free. Feel free to modify my code the way you want. Okay? So maybe you even don't need to use my code. But again, I say my code is a good starting point. It has almost everything for you to get started. So if you want to build your own framework, I'm welcome. Okay, as long as you know what to do. So modify, optimize it the way you see fit. I might ask you some question why you did that, right? And if it is if you have a good reason to modify it, I'm more than welcome. Okay. I'm actually you have to modify it because the sample is just a sample. It is super simple, so of course it won't be enough for you to complete the Mario game. So I see some of you run into problem with the sample file. Do you have any problem with the sample file? Are you you can get it?
Yes, it's so far so good.
Okay, so far so good. Good, great.
So another question. Can you open the picture? That picture again. Reopen.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, right there. How can we delete the red? Yeah.
That is the portal object. So the portal object is the object when Mario collide with it, we switch to another scene.
No, I mean the coin. The coin have. I know. We have to init the bounding box right there, but we don't need to init the color of it. It must be transparent.
What?
The
I mean, what he meant to say is that do you know how to turn off the red bounding box?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think you should know it, right? It just go into the coin object here, comment this function. Okay, I'll do it now. You see?
okay. Yeah, I know it.
So inside each render function of each object, right? So if you want to turn on the render bounding box, so you just call the generic render bounding box of the C game object. Right? If you don't want to do so, just turn it off. So usually you turn on the render bounding box if you want to debug. Otherwise, you don't need to turn it on. Okay. But again, as I mentioned earlier, so the render bounding box does not work for the platform object. Okay. So you need to modify the function in order to render it correctly. For the platform object, the reason why it was wrong, I explained it already because of the the, the way we render a texture, right? So good. So have you tried adding things over the scene, for example, like adding Cooper? Have you tried that?
Actually, I found the bug of Mario. A bug in your code.
That's great. Yeah. So what is
Let
the bug then?
let me show you my screen.
Mm-hmm. Don't hesitate to tell me that I was wrong. So nobody is perfect, and I don't feel shy for people to tell me that I'm wrong, because if you tell me that I'm wrong, I have a chance to learn a new thing, right? Show me.
You guys hear? You guys see that?
Yeah, I see you. Which part is?
You see that?
You know the sit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know that there is a limitation of that feature. So if you sit, and then we will have a bit of a problem.
Let me show it again. When I sit and I don't know what to say. They're here.
You
Oh,
sit and you still keep the move button, right?
yeah,
Oh.
but when I hit the Goomba, it's still sit and moving.
Yeah, of course, because we haven't implemented the logic to to uh, to change the status, right? So that is another logic. I know that when being hit by an enemy, right? So and if we are at the sitting state, so I need to change the state as well. So but there is no such logic, right? So that was why Mario is stuck with the sitting state, and that was the bug. That is one thing I wanted to tell you as well. Yeah. Now again, the sample code is not by no means, by no way perfect. I try to make it as as good as I can for you to get started. But what's the point of me trying to give you a a perfect example, and then you don't do anything, right?
I know.
So you need to figure it out. Yeah, but it's good to notice that there is an issue over there. And also, if you look at the way I organize my sample in the scene manager, so you will see there is some sort of limitation. So if you look at the each scene object, right? So you can see that every time we load a scene, right? We have to load the access from Mario again and again and again. Correct? Hello? Still with me? Now I'll show you here. So that is one of the not so good thing about the example. So you can see here. So we have to load Mario access, right? Every time. Every time we switch to another scene, even though that Mario access is somewhat shared between scenes. Agree? Especially his animation and sprite. So we don't really need to reload it every time we switch to a new scene. So how can we optimize this? How can we make Mario a shared object so we don't have to load it? I mean, Mario access to be shared across scene. So how do we do it? Okay, there is an answer possibly. So an intro. So Vic, what do you want us to view? So should I just show it? Oh, I stopped sharing it. Oh, that is your work. Okay, good. Okay, looks good. So almost perfect, huh? Oops. Wow. So good work, Vic. So I guess that you have to spend quite a lot of time trying to do on those scripts. Great, great, yeah, great work. Okay, yep, great. Looks almost perfect. So, but again, so don't spend too much time on things to get you to point marks before you get 5. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to hard code something in the into the code for that intro scene, right? I agree, but you know, in fact, there is a way for not to hard code it, but that is quite advanced for you guys. So we use something called a scripting stuff. Like basically, you you want to say, hey, I want Mario to go from here to here, right? So instead of controlling Mario using the code, so you turn that logic into data, just like the way we store, the way we implement the scene here by turning, but the format of the file must be more complicated than just, you know, a few data points like this. So you can see, you can implement the move command, you implement the jump command, and then run command. But it is, and all of those commands were put onto a separate file, and then you can run that script when playing the introduction screen. But yeah, I don't really want you to go into that direction right now. But hard coded, that is okay. Oh, that is another exception. Okay, so usually you have to you are not allowed to hard code in the normal play scene, right? But it's okay. It's okay to hard code the logic of the intro scene. So how things dropping down. So we have the curtains, you know, drawing up, stuff like that. So it's okay to hard code in the code. Okay, one last thing is how to do the tail, right? So so Mario, the most important features of Mario Pro 3 is its tail. Okay, so that is the most famous feature. So and I had to say that is the feature, that is the features that I want you to implement flawlessly. There must be no error in that features, including Mario flying, especially flying and using its tail to do various stuff. Okay, so that is super important features. And yeah, that's right, Vic. And one of the tricky situation is how to implement its tail, right? Because normally if you put Mario, the Mario with the tail, his bounding box become too big, right? Like this, and then you will run into some very weird situation, right? So instead of that, so you just put Mario bounding box as a normal, it just you know, narrow as normal, right? Don't worry about his tail, his fake tail over here, right? And then when Mario use his tail, you create another separate object, the tail here, the real tail here, but it is hidden. So even though that in front, even though that you still play the animation so that Mario flip his tail, right? But the bounding box stays the same. But at that time, when the tail moving from left to right, you create another object. That object is the actual tail object. It is invisible, but it is attached to Mario. And then we give that tail a time to live like you know, 1/3 of the second. Okay, and then that tail, we will handle collision of that tail as well to the enemy object. So if that tail hit enemy object, so we will process with the logic of killing the object. With me so far, guys? How to handle the tail object of Mario? Hello, hello. I think I might want to copy. So there is a tail. So where is the sprite to of Mario to hit the object? Do we have it here? Where is the tail? So this is the kick. Interesting. Okay. So actually the tail object is the so I'll copy it here to demonstrate my point. So Mario, normal Mario, so he's a bit wide, right? So instead of making a bounding box as big as him, right? So we don't do the bounding box like that. So we do the bounding box like this, just like just normally, okay? So and then so let me flip the picture. So when Mario flip the tail, so how can I so when Mario flip the tail like that, so we don't change the bounding box as big as this. No, we don't. But we keep the bounding box the same, and then we create another object like this, and then we put it here. Okay, do you see my point, guys? Hello, hello. Are we good with this? Or am I talking to the wall again?
I think I get it.
Huh?
I get it.
Okay, you get it. Good, good. That's the way how to handle the tail. So is there any trick? Oh, one more thing. The Goomba, the red Goomba over here. So how do you implement the turn back logic, right? So how the Goomba knows that when it almost reached to the end, so it will turn its back. So do you have any idea? The red Koopa, sorry, the red Koopa. So that is a smart guy, right? So when he reaches to the end of the platform, so he turned his head. So how do we know that? So how does he do it? Okay, the trick here is actually there are a few ways to do so. So let's say I'm drawing some example here. Leave it here. Actually, just leave. Okay, so the trick here is the same as the Mario tail. So we create some invisible object ahead in front of the Koopa. So when the Koopa move, right? So it will move like this, right? And then and that object is attached to the Koopa, right? But it still follows the normal logic, right? So when Koopas move, it will push the object forward. So and then when Koopas push it over here, when the object drop, right? So you see that because of gravity, so this guy will drop down. So when you notice that this object is no longer on the platform, so you know that it's the time for Koopa to turn into another direction. And then when Koopa turn into this direction, so we put the object back into this one and let Koopa go with it. Okay. Do you see the point here, guy?
Yes, I see the point.
So that is a very interesting trick, huh? So to be honest, this one I did not come up with this idea. So one of my students come up. So actually, my way of doing it is a bit more complicated, which I feel like ashamed to share you here. But it works, but it's not as good as this one. So I think this is the best trick to handle to implement that logic so far. So another guy have another way like this. So he used a line, not the object, but he used a line like this. But that line is somewhat high. So you can see that for every frame, he checked if this line collide with the platform underneath the Cooper. So if a collision happened, so nothing happened, right? So and then if two of them like that, so this line does not collide with anything. So which means it's time for Cooper to turn the head, and he will put that line back here. Okay. So same idea, different way to implement. So I think either way is good. Okay, so you show me the pictures. So what is your question, man? Hello?
Oh, I asked you right there.
Oh, you don't have to. So again, my sprite is just a sample. You can use whatever sprite you like from any shops. But please use Mario sprite, right? Don't use anything. Don't make a different game. So I want Mario sprite. Don't use like Castlevania sprite for a Mario game. That is awesome. That is awful. Okay, different sprite shit. That's fine, but it has to be Mario. Nam, does that answer your question?
I forgot to turn on the mic. Sorry. Yes, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
Yes, Hill. Go ahead.
Can you say us about your way of handling Coupa turnaround in the platform?
I have just did that.
No. You said your way is more complicated. So you so you don't want to talk more.
Well, basically, it's somewhat the same idea, but actually, I'm looking at the right edge of the bounding box. So if I see it a little bit further than the right edge of the platform, so I turn it around.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
So it is more complicated. Actually, it is quite a bit tricky to implement that correctly. But yeah, it works, but a little bit more complicated than just the using another object to attach to Cooper. Mm-hmm. So this proves one point. So even though that I'm your teacher, even though that I might be more experienced than you at certain time, but I'm not always the guy who come up with the best solution for anything, right? So I give you a sample. I give you some head start. So it's up to you to improve it. So actually, I'm so glad that if you can improve it and do it better than me. So I will learn your trick, and then I will pass it down to other guys later. And then I will not tell everybody that that is my solution. No, I will be honest to say that no, this is not my solution. So it's all about learning, guys. So that's the way. That's the way we progress in the world. Okay. So do you have any thinking about how to do the wing Goomba, the Goomba with the wing? So should we use two different classes or one class only? The wing Goomba or the red Goomba? So how should we do? Two class is also fine, but not optimized. So actually, if you want to do it lean and clean, just one class. So treat Goomba as Mario. So Mario has big and small status, right? So Goomba is much simpler than Mario. So Goomba will have two levels. The first level is the level with a wing, right? So the second level, the first level is the level one is the normal Goomba. But how to deal with the colors? So we can have the color, which means the red or brown Goomba, right? So you can control it with a simple variable. So say Goomba's colors. So if Goomba color is brown, so it is brown, right? And you use the sprite, the brown sprite. And if the color is red, so you use the red sprite, right? So you have only one class, so better. Or another way is you have two classes, just like Vic said, but you inherit it, right? So the wing Goomba is a normal Goomba with the wing feature. That can also work. Vic, agree? But two complete separate classes seem to be not a very optimized idea. So we also have a wing Koopa, right? So basically the same. So actually we have three types of Koopa. So the one with the wing, the green one, very stupid, just go on and he can jump into the pitch. And the normal Koopa, stupid one as well, just go straight and whatever it is. And the third one is the red one. So you can either use the same inheritance. So we have a class for Koopa. So we inherit Koopa to make it a red Cooper and then a wing Cooper, the same thing. So how about the shell state? So do you want to when you jump on the a Cooper, right? So if it is a normal Cooper, so it become a shell, right? It become a shell. So how did you do that? Is that a state of the object or different classes? What do you think? This is the shell state, right? A Cooper in itself. So I recommend you to implement it in one class, but different state, right? It's called the shell state. Okay, are we good, guys? Are we good? Okay, I'll stand by here waiting for more questions from you guys.
Can I ask you about the respawning enemy, which mean when we move to another position and when we come back, will the enemy respawn again?
It's up to you. I don't have any preference. So it's up to you to respawn the enemy or to keep it there. Yeah.
Because when I played the original,
I know.
I saw them respawn.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you know why? Because the NES system, it has very limited memory. So whenever you go away, so they have to delete the out of screen object to save memory, right? So then when you meet them again, so they have to create them again. So to save memory, because they can only maintain up until a certain number of objects in memory. But here we have a lot of memory, so you can keep them forever. So, but I think not responding seems to be less work for you. So the answer is you can do either way. Yeah, but I know that not responding enemy will save you some work. Right? Will be less work for you.
And one more question: if I kept the enemy right there, and when I hit the Cooper, and he will appear the shell. So the shell, when the shell move left, move right, when it out of Mario's side, it come again. So is this legal?
When it goes out
when the shell out of
the screen, right?
Yeah, out of screen, and will it come back or just
It will
disappear?
come back. It will come back if it's bounce on another object.
Oh.
So for example, on this scene, on this screen, right? So because in the real, again, the real game, because it has limited memory, so it has to remove the object out of screen, right? We don't have to do so. If we don't have to do so, if the shell goes out of the screen, doesn't matter, because the shell is still in our world, right? It's still in memory, so it keeps moving until it bounces into something, right? Until it hits something, until it hits a pipe or a wall or a brick or anything, right? So when it hits something, it will bounce back, and as a result, you will see that the shell hit the pipe, even though out of screen, but it will come back after a while. So it is a little bit different from the original game, but that is a good difference. I want that. I think that's okay.
Okay, I got it.
So to be short, don't implement the out of screen logic. Okay, don't implement the out of screen logic. Oh, and one more thing. So I'll turn. I move over here for you to. So do you see the stupid flying Goomba over here, right? Sorry, Koopa. So if you spawn it too soon, if you don't implement the out of screen, delete logic or something, right? If you spawn it immediately or you apply the update function for it immediately when Mario starts the scene at the very left edge of the level, so that Goomba will eventually, move, and then he will jump to the pitch, and then when Mario reach to this position, so Mario will not see it. So how do you handle that situation? How do you only spawn or only move the Koopa here when Mario reach to this position? How do we do it? Do you understand what I'm saying here?
I think we should have a function that when the Mario move to that position, it will appear right there, not
Yeah.
the
So how to
appearance.
implement that without hard coding? How do we implement that?
I think I will have a way, but not right now.
So if you look at the portal object, it serves the similar thing. So you have an object when Mario hit that object, right? So I try. let's say this is the platform, right? So this is what we call the spawn object. So how do we say it? I will copy it here. The spawn object. Okay. So so let's say this is Mario, and this is the spawn object. It is invisible, so we will make it very high to make sure that Mario will never miss it, right? But it is invisible. So in the object, we say, so if Mario hit the object, so there will be another object spawn at certain location in the game. Do you understand it?
Yeah, I got
Yes.
it.
Guy, get it?
Yeah.
It's
Again.
like the checkpoint.
Yeah, sort of the checkpoint. Yes, it's true.
But
So if Mario
checkpoint.
hits this one, hit the spawn object, so and then the spawn object will create. There will be a lot. We will put some data to say, hey, it is there is an object over here. So we will implement it just like the portal object, right? So let's say we have a spawn. Do you still see my screen, right?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Spawn object. So the ID is let's say 60, right? So we have the left top, right bottom of the spawn object, right? Right. And then after that, we can say, okay, so if Mario hits the object, and then we will create a Goomba. So we will put the Goomba right here, right? So the ID of the object to create. So this is the position, and this is the X, Y position. Good, right? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I understand what you're trying to do.
Okay. Now the last thing I want to tell you how to do the the question brick, right? So is that a question brick? Okay, so when Mario hit the question brick, so you will see that there is a mushroom, right? A mushroom, it will it will just like it pop like that, right? And then it goes up, right? Right. So
Yeah.
how do we and then after that it will run over here. So how do we do it? How do we do this?
I think we hide the mushroom inside the questioning box. When Mario have a collision with that question box, it will come up a little slowly. Then he's fell down on your left and right, by the way, randomly.
Yeah, that is the logic, but I'm asking about how to draw it like this, just like what I'm doing here on the slide. How do we create this illusion? So some of you might run into this the situation. It will like that. So the mushroom will be in front of the question brick. So how do we hide it behind the question brick like this? Okay, the trick is pretty simple. So so if we draw the mushroom first, and then we draw the question bricks later, it will override it, right?
Yeah.
So just to make sure that you draw the question brick before you draw the mushroom object behind it. That's it. That's the only trick. Simple.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So because the question brick, you can associate it with a mushroom, right? So you have a pointer to the mushroom, and then you when rendering, so you know that it is even though it is just it is two objects, but it relating to each other, right? So you make sure that you render the mushroom before you render the question brick, so that when we render the question brick, it will override it, and then when you move the mushroom, right? So it will look like it is pops up from inside the question brick and pops out like this. Yeah. Okay. Got the trick?
Yeah. Got a trick.
Mm-hmm. So doing games is all about you will encounter a lot of little funny problem everywhere, and it is a joy to figure it out, really. So something it is sometimes you figure out a trick which is so simple that you have to laugh, just like when I just show you and then you laugh, right? You say, wow, damn, it is so simple, but it looks magical, right? Doing game is just full of moments like that. Okay, so I think I'll stop here a little bit, and then so let you think of many more questions. I'll be back in about a couple of minutes, and then if we don't have anything to ask, so we can end class here, right? Oh, I have another question. What I do is a mix of both. Have a wing Cooper as an inherited class and have a state handle in the base class. Yeah, that could be. That is all right. Yeah, we can do that with. Okay, so I leave you guys here for a couple of minutes to think more of the question. Okay, and then yeah, let's move that from here. Okay. Hello, guys. So Nam, we're so dead from now on, huh? I really 2 week is not too much challenge to implement what I'm asking you guys to do. Really, based on my latest example. So I don't think that is too much for you to do in 2 weeks, unless you have a lot of other things to do in your life. But I expect that you will spend at least uh, 2 months of your life on me on the project. Okay. Don't sleep and you'll be fine. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Funny comment. I'm glad that you share your feeling. Yeah, I know it seems to be overwhelmed right now, but yeah, if you are completely new to the course, so you will see that it is so much stuff to learn and to try in order to get there. But if you already learn the course at least once, you will see that actually what I'm asking is not too much. It's super simple. Just look at the latest sample code. It is almost there. Just try a little bit more and you will get there. Okay. Don't give up before you try your best. Okay. Any question for me, guys? Any comment? Oh, one last thing. You don't have to do the tile background in the first milestone, even though that I have asked you to do so in the first assignment, but that assignment is optional, okay? But in the next milestone, I will ask you to have the tile background. For now, to make your life easier, so you either can use a full background, right? A big picture, a big image as a background of Mario, or you don't need to do the background at all, as long as you come up with the same, with the same terrain like the real game is okay. So it doesn't have to be that beautiful, right? So it maybe doesn't even have a background, so it's okay. Got it? To save you some time. But if you are new to the course, you need to start right now. After we finish the class, you need to jump in and sleep as less as you can. Sleep less, right? Don't sleep too much, and spend at least 8 hours per day. Come on, you are in lockdown, so you don't have to travel to school, right? You don't have to commute to school, so you have a lot of more time. And set aside other things. You need to win this course. Okay, guys. Hopefully you feel good. Okay. If we don't have any further questions, so let's call it a day then. Okay. Any objection? Okay, I'll count from one to I'm counting to three, and then we will end the class here. Okay, 3, 2.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I show my screen?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Do you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
How do the Mario can go through this object, but he jump on this, is pushed up. history boost back. I don't know how to do this. This object.
So actually, that is not an. So the whole thing is not an object. Just the top part is an object.
Top part.
Yeah, the top part of that square, of that pink square is an object. Just the little top part. Okay, let me demonstrate. Give me a second. I'll copy the picture and then. Okay, you see my screen again.
Yeah, yes.
So this is the right. So you don't have to make the whole thing here an object, right? You don't have to. So you just need to make this little guy here an object. Okay, and then you might ask, okay, what happened if Mario is jumping and it will be hit from the top, right?
Yes.
So just go over the framework and turn off collision detection if Mario is hitting it from the bottom. So you only process the collision when it is hit from when it is running on top, but not from the bottom up. Figure out a way to turn it off. Okay. So right now we only it's similar to when you jump onto a Goomba, right? So when you jump onto a Goomba from top, right, and then you kill it. But if you hit Goomba from any other direction, so Goomba will hit you. Agree? So it is a little bit similar, but be aware of the. So the trick here is to change the. I'll show you the code, the collision here. So the trick here is to change the filter function. Okay. So the filter function here. So whenever we see a collision, right? So we add it into the collision list. So now you need to get the direction of the collision into account and see that, okay, so this is the object, and this object support this direction of collision, and this object is blocking from this direction. So you will add it into the list. Otherwise, you just skip it. So the key here is to modify this function to add that extra logic. Hello.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, good. Anybody else understand what I'm saying here? It's good to ask such a good question for everybody to learn together.
I have another question about my screen.
Nice. I see
Did
some
you see?
star.
Yes.
Screen width.
When I define the screen width and screen height.
Wow, your screen is that big, like 2000. Whew. Okay.
It's It's draw bottom the platform. How do I only draw a part
What?
of
Sorry.
screen? It will show on the bottom of platform like that.
So you don't want to. You
Yes,
don't
yes.
want.
Yeah.
You want to draw from the the bottom up.
Yes.
So it's all about the positioning, right? So you just have to move all of the coordinate of the platform down here, or move the camera up. Do you understand what I mean? So you move the camera up, so you will see the platform down into the window. Move the camera up. So go over the camera position. Go over your code. Yeah, you are right there. Good. So go over the code into the camera position.
There.
Okay, so what is the camera position? So okay, so right now camera is at 0, right? So you can make it a negative one. So to make it up,
I have changed it.
so basically when you move camera up, so the platform will be at the bottom, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I think this is perfect already. So good.
So I cannot set my screen to large.
In fact, yes, you can do so, but it will make the screen too big, and then yeah, I just want it to look like just the original game, because the screen size of the original game is the best one for that game, right? So people have designed the game for that screen size, so that you see that much of the object. So the game is optimized for that. So if you see much bigger, and then your experience will be a bit different, right? But yeah,
Okay.
you can make it bigger. Doesn't really matter. But you will be in trouble when you try to implement the HUD, right? Because you have to scale the HUD as well, the head-up display. So if you make the screen too big, so you have to fill in that empty space, and which is not good, right? Because the game with that screen size already fill up all the space, and to make it look nice already.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome, man. Yeah, we need to make sure the back buffer width and height to be in line with the Windows width and height. But that's okay, even though the back buffer width and height is not the same as the Windows screen. So DirectX will scale it. So, but it will make everything blur. But it's okay, still can work. Blurry is not my big concern. So it's okay to have something blur. Okay, are we good? Khoa, is that all for you?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I think that's it for today, huh? Okay. Okay. See you next week then. Have a good weekend, guys.
You too, sir.
Bye bye.
Goodbye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.